I am currently the head of revenue and business development at Susu Financial, which is a property technology platform that's supporting the multifamily industry and its renters. But before that, a year ago or a year and a half ago, if you would have told me that I would be at a fast-paced startup, I would have thought you were crazy and said no way. I come from a very traditional real estate background. So the bulk of my career has been with Freddie Mac Multi-family, where I was on the lending side of the commercial real estate space. My role there was really focused on the production and sales side of things, being responsible for sourcing, structuring, and pricing multifamily loans for many of the owners and operators of multifamily housing that Isusu works with today. Before that, I was a CPA. I was in the audit practice at Deloitte. That is very much a past life. I joke that I'm a recovering CPA. But I graduated from the University of Wisconsin, and Wisconsin raised and haven't gone far. I'm now located in the Chicagoland area. So that's a little bit about my background, and excited to tell you more about Isusu here today.
Oh, that's so exciting. So you've been in some pretty male-dominated industries between like Deloitte and as a finance, a CPA. I mean, you don't see a lot of women there. Is that right?
Yeah, in finance in general, in multifamily in general as well, it is still a male and predominantly a lack of diversity, whether it be through gender or race or ethnicity. And so,
Mm.
interestingly, my most recent role at Freddie Mac Multifamily was launching their equitable housing division. And so it was focused on three things: rental affordability, increasing borrower diversity, as well as renter advancement. And so, in the renter advancement lens of how can we better the lives of America's renters, that's where Isusu came into the picture, launched a formal program with them, and the rest is history. Now I'm here today. So, really grateful to have had throughout my journey both male and female mentors who have coached me along the way. And it's also great to just see a lot more representation, not just within Isusu since we're minority owned and backed, but across the industry as well.
That's so exciting. So tell us a little bit about Isuzu and your services. I mean, you mentioned that they're making it more affordable housing more accessible, which is wonderful, especially in the market right now. My goodness, it's been a crazy market the last few years. I bet it's been amazing to be. How long have you been with Isuzu and how long has it been, incorporated? And what's kind of the journey of your guys' company so far?
Yes, that's a great question. So, before I go into what Isusu is, I always start with the why. We were founded by two co-founders, Samir Goyal, whose family immigrated from New Delhi, India, and Wamimo Abe, whose family immigrated from Lagos, Nigeria. Both just saw how difficult it was to establish credit and to really pursue the American dream, if you will, with little to no financial resources or financial identity. And so Isusu was founded on the core ethos that no matter where you come from, the color of your skin, or your financial identity, it shouldn't determine where you end up in life. And so, double clicking outside of Isusu, though, there are 45 million Americans who are still currently credit invisible, and that number skews heavily towards minorities, renters, and immigrants. So, dialing in on the renters piece, hundreds of millions of Americans are rent burdened, meaning they spend the bulk of their monthly income on rent, and 60% of renters today are living paycheck to paycheck. And so renters just are being disproportionately impacted. Today, less than 10% of renters receive credit for their on-time rental payments, whereas homeowners have their monthly housing payments via mortgages reported to the credit bureaus every single month. And so,
Wow.
founded on both those shared experiences by our two co-founders, as well as this systemic problem impacting a large swath of America being renters, they founded Isusu to really flip that script. And so, more practically speaking, Isusu really cut its teeth in the rent reporting space. Today,
Mm.
we offer three core offerings. We partner with multifamily owners, operators, investors, and property managers to offer three things. So when life is going well, that's where our rent reporting comes into play. So when a
Cool.
renter pays their rent on time and in full, we report those on-time rental payments to the credit bureaus so that we can give renters credit where credit is due in making their monthly housing payments every month.
Nice.
That's when life is going well. But as we've seen, to your point about it being a tough market and tough macroeconomic forces, when life is not going well, our second offering is a rent relief or a rental backstop offering. And so when a renter experiences short-term financial shock, that renter who's living in an Isusu community is able to apply for 1 to 3 months rent at 0% interest that is wired directly to property management. So it's eviction prevention. It is promoting housing stability, and it proves to be accretive from the value perspective to that housing provider. And then the last piece is, with the growing presence of ESG and social impact, we're able to capture and quantify a lot of the great work that we're doing on the rent reporting and the rent relief side for investor or other purposes of reporting. So being able to say, here's how many renters that you've helped create credit scores, improve their credit scores by X points, or move X tiers or buckets, and prevent X number of evictions and things like that. So being able to capture and quantify that social impact is something that's very much needed in the multifamily space today.